A Loving Dip in Paradise. Written by Edwin Firestorm. Art by Pastelius Pie. Pastel and Edwin grunted under their breath as they tried to squeeze themselves through a tight crack passageway in the cold stone wall, their fur rubbing on the cold jagged surface. "A little claustrophobic, don't you think?" Pastel remarked, looking onward through the side, her color catching on the jagged surface, making her stop. She gently raised her hoof to free herself, but no avail. The passage was too tight for maneuvering. "I suppose so. I might be a rough love, but it will be worth it," Edwin replied with a smile, using a hole in his left hoof to free Pastel's collar off the jagged surface. She grabbed his hoof, and they held tightly as they moved further along the crease. Plucking out on the other side, Edwin took both Pastel's hoofs and brought her with him, leading her whilst walking backwards. "Welcome, love, to paradise," Edwin said as he let off Pastel's left hoof, moving aside to join her ride, revealing not only camps but a city of black and gold, a texture she has never seen before in her life. Monoliths, buildings of obsidian, obsidian stone, lined with gold, wrapped in golden tentacles, streets lined with green and purple, unworldly trees placed around the city, cave walls spreading water, lava waterfalls alike, glistering gems, ores from the roofs onto the floor. In the center of the city, a large temple, emitting a brightest ray of light up on the roof, which about a giant gold-like crystal acting like a miniature sun. The light giving off radiated the streets of pureness and beauty. They stood in a long ledge overwhelmed of viewing of the city. Pastel could feel the warmth of the light on her soft pink cheeks, like a summer's dusk. "Wow!" Pastel let go of Edwin's hoof and edged closer towards the edge, looking down on the southern occupants. Large pony-like beings with orange-shaped torsos similar to her cold friends, tentacles gently bobbling and wandering further underneath their snout. She could not tell if they were their mouths or just covering them. Shifting scales covering their knees, shoulders, and flanks, and coupled with smaller scales throughout their wrists. Their eyes almost glowing colors without pupils. Some even had what she could presume to be normal eyes placed around their bodies. What, what is this place?" Pastel looked back and up at Edwin taking a seat. Edwin trotted over and joined her, gently placing his left hoof around her. They sat and watched the occupants going on their business. "This is Paradise, an ancient city," Edwin explained before pointing to the giant temple in the center. "That there is a temple of light, this infinity source of magic believed to fuel all magic in Equestria. These ponies are the Forgotten. We are somewhere under the frozen north now, hence why the criticism for so long." Pastel looked as up shocked at Edwin, looking at his deadly ruby eyes. "So we squeezed through an ocean to get here?" Pastel asked, confused. "Yes, the entrance to the city was built on an island in order to protect the city and the race. As a race, they sworn to protect the source of all magic from being corrupt or used for wrong, especially since the entrance to the void where the Emberum were entrapped is located here as well. I helped them build the city long ago. Long ago, I wonder if they're still having Frostlings problems." Edwin replied with a small soft smile. "Frostlings?" as Pastel repeated. Yes, love. They're kindly like changelings except for primordial. The Forgotten call them that, the Tumblers, since most of them have evolved into armored bugs, using their hooves to tunnel through the ice ground in the north. They cannot communicate, so it is possible for the Forgotten to make peace. They have been having invo- have been They have been having this war on this since before the city was built, but still not interested to hear more. How long have they lived here exactly? I'm not sure. It has been so long, but definitely even before Cress's establishment. To most of those ponies reign in strange concept. Some don't even get to hear or experience it even. But they have their own customs and traditions, love, like every other civilization. Like what? Asked Stella. Well, for one, every year every adult pony has to go to enter the void. They must travel through the cold, dark nothingness to the center of the void, where they must have leave a special shard of crystal. Confronted by the Emperor, they will face their fears and suffer the past to emerge better themselves. They also buried their best in the void, as they believe the spirits will help hold back the void from breaking free. Pastel looked down at the city before gazing back at the storm. Have you ever taken part of this tradition? Asked Pastel curiously. Of course, I have, cutie pie. They have most of them the cultists divided in clans of what they choose to believe in, but they all agreed to believe what Vinyl is a goddess, and prize her as being born of light. From this very well, they make small statues and praise the stone ones of her on the day on her birthday. Playing music takes a big part in the celebrations as they try to appease her. But still put a hoof on her chin before giving a big, you mean vinyl as in, yes, Edwin chuckled. The very same one. Edwin got up and pulled Pastel up after him. Come on, love, let's go see the place to stay. We're on a vacation to enjoy, Edwin said, giving the Pastel a sharing smile and wink. Turning to the right before making their way down to a curved staircase made in ancient curved steps. Some cracked and overgrown with vines. Why are they looking at us so much? Asked Estelle. You're the first pony most of them have seen a long, long time. Edwin replied, looking back. Besides, I haven't been here in a couple of fancy years, although they can morph themselves into ponies. Is that not that common for them to use disguise, especially in paradise? There's no need to hide what they are. Take Iron Hoof, for example. He left for Canterlot a long time ago because he wanted to do something more than protect the city, becoming a blacksmith to supply Equestria's soldiers with the best weapon and armor. Although they could never be as good as the forgotten equipments they will suffice. But Ironhoof's got his left hoof covered in molten iron. Why is that? He lost his left hoof tentacle in a fight with the Frostlings while protecting the city as they breached the walls of these shams. They have tentacles for the hoofs. I told you, sweetie, they can morph a bit. They usually use them to grab other things or even fight if they need to. Some can even grow special spikes and bits like squids or octopus tentacles. What about the timing here? Also, sorry, I'm not here really talking like always. I'm just saying I'm aware of everything here. Estelle asked, looking around before focusing on the golden crystal in the ceiling. The temple has a cover. They have a team controlling the light flow in order to make it suit the time of the day. Its layers of tinted glass, the more they put on the dimmer it gets, replied Edwin. After crossing a quarter of the streets, Pastel and Edwin signed to stay over inside an inn they called the Tendril Delight. The cave dimming as the cupboards were placed atop the temple. What are we going to do now, after that we signed in? Asked Estelle, sitting at the table opposite of Edwin, holding hoofs on the table. Ever been to hot springs? Asked Edwin, caressing her hoof with both his fists. Water streamed in a non-existent moonlight as Edwin and Estelle took their seat, dipping in slowly covered to the chest in the warm water spring water. Estelle could feel all the hard work, the stress she had experienced drain out of her. Muscles relaxed. Edwin, inching closer, put his hoof around her. She stayed. She turned. When their eyes met, they smiled and kissed. Estelle placed her hoof on his chest and rested her head on his shoulder. Cuddled up to Edwin in the hot springs. He lay on his head on her pink mane. "I love you, Estelle," he whispered softly in her ear. She smiled in return, licking his fur. His replied softly, "I love you too." After an hour, they traveled back up to the countryside, making out into the fresh air just in time to watch the sunset. Sitting each other's embrace, Edwin and Estelle watched the yellow ball that swallowed up the horizon, the pink, orange, and yellow fading from the sky. "Estelle," Edwin asked, looking at his lover's blue eyes, his soul and love drowning in the unrelating beauty. "Yeah, Edwin?" she asked cheerfully. "Ever since we met, you made my life turn from hell into heaven. Being around you makes me happiest pony in the world. You made my shared heart love you beyond any boundary of space, and I love you every moment spent with you. I love your adorable smile, curvy lips when you kiss me. I want to be with you for an eternity if I can." Edwin said, pulling out a ring, using his ruby-colored magic and floating it before the mirror. "Will you marry me?" Estelle looked at the ring, a platinum base with a ruby-like shadow on top, glistening at the last light of the day. Without a second thought, she threw herself onto Edwin, kissing him deeply. "Of course I will," said Estelle, excited. Using his magic, Edwin placed the ring on her horn, pulled her onto him, kissing her softly. They cuddled in the warm night, enjoying their own loving dip in paradise. The